Ladies and gentlemen, when we hear the word smart, most people immediately think about degrees, certificates, or perhaps a high-paying job. But the secret life of smart women is far deeper than academic knowledge or professional success. It's a life built on wisdom, emotional intelligence, courage, and an ability to transform not just their own lives, but the lives of everyone around them. A truly smart woman knows that success is not measured only by the applause of the world, but by the peace she carries within her. She has the gift of balancing strength with grace, ambition with compassion, and logic with intuition. The secret lies not in what the world sees, but in what the world does not see. The sleepless nights when she doubts herself, but still shows up the next morning with a smile. The sacrifices she makes so her family, her friends, her colleagues can thrive. The ability to hold her pain quietly, yet use it as fuel to encourage others. Smart women don't waste time competing with others. They know their real competition is with their own yesterday. They invest their energy not in proving others wrong, but in proving themselves right. And do you know the most beautiful secret? They don't let success make them arrogant, nor do they let failure make them bitter. They transform every fall into a lesson, every scar into a story, and every challenge into an opportunity to rise higher. The secret life of smart women teaches us that intelligence is not just in the mind, but also in the heart. It is not only about solving problems, but also about creating harmony. It is not about being perfect, but about being authentic. So the next time you meet a truly smart woman, don't just admire her achievements. Respect the invisible battles she fought, the unseen tears she shed, and the unspoken courage she carries every single day. That is the real secret of her strength. The secret life that makes her extraordinary. Smart women understand something that many people overlook. There is a huge difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is about gathering facts, reading books, collecting degrees, or even mastering a particular subject. But wisdom goes much deeper. It's the ability to use that knowledge in a way that truly improves life, your own and the lives of others. A smart woman doesn't just know things. She knows how, when, and why to apply what she knows. This subtle difference between knowledge and wisdom is what gives her life depth and meaning. Think about it, the world today is overflowing with information. A quick search on the internet can give you millions of answers in seconds. But does that automatically make someone wise? Not at all. True wisdom requires reflection, understanding, and discernment. A smart woman realizes that memorizing information is easy, but applying it in a way that brings harmony, peace, and growth is the real art. For example, she may know the science behind health and fitness, but wisdom tells her not to push herself to exhaustion and instead to balance discipline with kindness toward her body. She may know about career growth strategies, but wisdom whispers that family and relationships cannot be neglected in the process. Smart women don't allow themselves to be carried away by the glitter of external achievements alone. They look beyond the surface. When faced with a problem, they don't just ask, "What should I do?" They also ask, "Is this the right thing to do? Will this action bring peace or chaos? Will this choice make me proud years later?" That moral compass, rooted in wisdom, is what sets them apart. Another secret about wisdom is that it often comes from experience, not just books. Smart women are not afraid to learn from mistakes, both their own and those of others. If they fall, they don't cover it up in shame. Instead, they ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" And once they learn the lesson, they rarely repeat the same error again. In fact, they often use the lessons to guide and uplift those around them. Have you ever noticed how a truly wise woman seems to calm the room just by her presence? It's not because she knows everything, but because she has lived enough, reflected enough, and learned enough to carry peace within her. Wisdom also shows in how smart women handle relationships. Knowledge might tell someone the psychology of human behavior, but wisdom teaches patience, empathy, and the art of listening without judgment. A smart woman knows when to speak and when silence is more powerful. She knows when to let go and when to hold on. She doesn't rush to prove herself right in every conversation, because wisdom has taught her that sometimes keeping harmony is more important than winning an argument. Finally, smart women understand that wisdom is not static, it grows. They remain lifelong learners, not because they want to accumulate endless certificates, but because they know life itself is the greatest teacher. They observe, they reflect, and they evolve. That is why when you look at a truly smart woman, you notice not only her intelligence, but also her depth. She doesn't shine only because of what she knows, but because of how she lives. Smart women have an extraordinary ability to balance two forces that often seem to be in conflict: strength and grace, ambition and compassion. Many people assume that if someone is strong, they must be hard, unbending, or difficult to approach. And if someone is graceful and compassionate, they must be soft, fragile, or incapable of leadership. But the secret of a smart woman's life is that she learns how to bring these forces together in harmony. She shows the world that you can be powerful without being harsh, ambitious without being selfish, and compassionate without being weak. Strength is necessary because life will test everyone. There will be challenges, setbacks, and situations where a woman has no choice but to stand her ground. A smart woman understands that her strength is not just in physical endurance or in professional achievement, but in the courage to keep going when things get tough. Her strength is in saying no when something threatens her values, in choosing dignity over convenience, and in carrying responsibilities without letting them crush her spirit. But here is where grace enters in. The strength alone can sometimes make a person rigid. Grace softens it. Grace allows a smart woman to speak firmly without being cruel, to make her point without humiliating others, and to lead without demanding submission. Grace is the invisible quality that makes her strength inspiring rather than intimidating. You may notice it in the way she handles criticism, not with loud defensiveness, but with calm dignity. Or in how she guides others, not by force, but by quietly setting an example that others naturally want to follow. Ambition is another aspect of her secret life. Smart women are ambitious, but their ambition is not selfish. It's not about crushing others to get ahead. It's about striving to become the best version of themselves so they can contribute meaningfully to the world. They want to rise, but they want to take others with them. Their ambition drives them to pursue education, careers, or passions with intensity. But compassion ensures they don't forget the people around them in the process. A smart woman may be working late into the night to achieve her goals, yet she won't hesitate to pause and help someone in need. What makes this balance so powerful is that it creates respect. People respect a woman who stands strong for herself, but they love a woman who pairs that strength with kindness. The combination disarms even the harshest critics. Strength makes people admire her, but compassion makes them trust her. Ambition inspires others to aim higher, while grace reassures them that they too will be supported along the way. Balancing these qualities is not always easy. There are days when a woman may feel the urge to be only strong and shut the world out. And there are days when compassion might make her want to give too much of herself, neglecting her own needs. But a truly smart woman learns to find the middle ground. She realizes that strength without grace can become arrogance, and compassion without ambition can become self-neglect. So she continues to refine herself, walking that fine line every single day. When you observe such a woman, you realize the secret is not in choosing between strength and grace, ambition and compassion. It is in embodying both. She is the storm and the calm, the fire and the gentle rain. And that balance is what makes her truly unforgettable. One of the hidden truths about smart women is that their resilience is often fueled by struggles the world never sees. On the surface, people may admire their confidence, their calmness, and their achievements. But behind that composed smile, there are countless untold stories of battles fought in silence, moments of doubt, nights of tears, and fears they never fully express. These struggles don't weaken them. Instead, they become the very fuel that strengthens their character and shapes their wisdom. Every smart woman has faced moments when the weight of life felt unbearable. Perhaps she was underestimated because of her gender, overlooked despite her efforts, or judged harshly for her choices. Yet, she didn't allow those experiences to break her spirit. She endured, she adjusted, and she grew stronger. What the world applauds as her resilience is actually built upon these invisible struggles that very few get to witness. It's easy to admire someone's strength when they stand tall, but what's truly remarkable is the quiet decision made at midnight to not give up, to try again tomorrow, to keep moving forward despite exhaustion. Smart women carry this inner decision-making process daily. They may not broadcast their challenges because they understand that true courage is not about announcing struggles to the world, but about silently rising above them. Think about how society often measures strength. People look at results, the promotion, the successful business, the strong family. But rarely do they look at the lonely hours of sacrifice, the failures that taught her painful lessons, or the times when she felt like giving up but didn't. Smart women live through these invisible battles with a unique kind of grace. They let their pain shape them, not shatter them. They learn to turn obstacles into stepping stones and wounds into wisdom. And here lies the real beauty. Instead of allowing struggles to make them bitter, they allow those experiences to make them empathetic. When a smart woman sees someone else struggling, she doesn't judge too quickly because she knows what it feels like to carry silent burdens. Her own unseen battles have taught her patience, compassion, and understanding. This is why people often find comfort in confiding in such women. They sense the depth that only comes from lived experience. It is also important to remember that resilience is not about never feeling weak. Smart women do feel tired, they do cry, and they do question themselves. But resilience is about not staying in that place of despair. It's about acknowledging the pain, but refusing to be defined by it. Each time they pick themselves up, they train their inner strength. Each time they recover from a setback, they prove to themselves that they are stronger than they thought. Over time, these repeated moments of silent courage create a solid foundation. The world may see only the calmness, the achievements, or the smile, but the woman herself knows the story behind it. She knows that her struggles did not destroy her, they became her greatest teachers. And this quiet resilience, built on invisible battles, is what makes her presence powerful. One of the most remarkable qualities of smart women is that they do not waste their energy comparing themselves to others. They understand that every person is on a unique journey with different circumstances, challenges, and timelines. Instead of being trapped in the exhausting cycle of competition with the outside world, they choose a far healthier and more empowering approach, competing with themselves. Their focus is not on being better than someone else, but on being better than the person they were yesterday. This mindset is what gives them peace. Comparison, after all, is a thief of joy. The moment you look at what someone else has, you stop appreciating what you already hold in your hands. A smart woman knows this well. She does not measure her worth by someone else's career, appearance, or lifestyle. She measures it by her own growth, her own learning, and her own inner progress. When she looks at another woman succeeding, she doesn't feel threatened. She feels inspired. Because her goal is not to outshine others, but to let her own light shine brighter every day. The beauty of this approach is that it eliminates unnecessary jealousy and insecurity. Instead of asking, "Why does she have what I don't?" A smart woman asks, what can I learn from her journey that will help me improve mine? She shifts the focus inward, making her own life the standard of measurement. This way, she becomes both the student and the competitor of her own growth. For example, in her career, she does not obsess over why someone else got promoted faster. Instead, she reflects, am I better at handling challenges than I was last year? Am I more skilled, more confident, more balanced? If the answer is yes, then she knows she is moving in the right direction. In her personal life, she doesn't compare her family, her marriage, or her lifestyle with others. She asks herself instead, am I becoming more patient? Am I handling relationships with more maturity than before? Am I cultivating inner peace despite external chaos? This practice of competing with oneself creates long-term success because it builds consistency. When you compare yourself to others, you are often chasing after their dreams, their timelines, their paths. But when you compete with yourself, you are chasing after your own potential. That is a race you can actually win every day, because the finish line keeps moving forward as you grow. Another beautiful aspect of this mindset is how it encourages self-reflection rather than judgment. A smart woman doesn't spend her evenings criticizing what others did wrong. Instead, she asks herself, what did I do today that I can improve tomorrow? This habit of reflection transforms her weaknesses into strengths over time. She no longer needs validation from the world, because her greatest satisfaction comes from seeing her own progress. And when setbacks come, and they always do, this way of thinking saves her from despair. Instead of saying, everyone else is ahead of me, she reminds herself, my only competition is the person in the mirror. If I can be a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little kinder tomorrow, then I have already won. That is why smart women radiate a sense of calm confidence. They are not in a race with the world. They are in a journey with themselves. And in that journey, they keep moving one step at a time, not to defeat others, but to continually become the best version of who they are meant to be. Smart women understand that life is too precious to spend trying to prove others wrong. They know that if they invest their energy in constantly responding to criticism or chasing validation, they will never have the focus required to build something meaningful. Instead, they direct their energy inward, investing in their own growth, development, and evolution. Their secret is not in silencing doubters with arguments, but in silencing them with undeniable progress. In every stage of life, there will always be people who underestimate, misjudge, or even criticize. Some will say, you can't do this. Others may laugh at their dreams or question their abilities. But a smart woman has learned that spending energy proving those people wrong is like trying to fight shadows. It wastes time and brings no lasting satisfaction. Instead, she channels that energy toward her goals. Her mindset is simply, if I grow, my results will speak louder than my words ever could. For example, When she chooses to study further or start a career, there may be voices discouraging her. But she doesn't waste time arguing. She invests in learning, in honing her skills, in staying disciplined. Years later, the same voices that doubted her are forced to acknowledge her progress, not because she fought them, but because she grew beyond them. Growth becomes her quiet, yet powerful, response. This approach also protects her peace of mind. People who constantly try to prove others wrong often become reactive, living for the opinions of others. But smart women refuse to hand over that power. They understand that true growth is personal. It is not about others' applause or criticism. It is about becoming wiser, stronger, and more fulfilled than they were before. They don't chase the satisfaction of saying, "See, I told you so." They chase the fulfillment of saying to themselves, "I am better than I was yesterday." Investing in growth also means they are not afraid to make mistakes. They know that every failure carries a lesson, and every lesson adds to their personal development. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of judgment, they use setbacks as opportunities to grow sharper, more resilient, and more prepared. When others are busy gossiping or doubting, she is busy learning, practicing, and rising. That quiet commitment sets her apart. Another sign of this mindset is humility. A smart woman knows that growth is not about showing off. She doesn't invest in herself to appear superior to others. She invests because she understands that the better she becomes, the more she can contribute. Her growth is not selfish, it is purposeful. When she develops her skills, she can serve her family better, uplift her community, and inspire others. The beauty of focusing on growth rather than proving others wrong is that it creates inner stability. If she only lived to prove doubters wrong, her motivation would disappear once they stopped doubting. But because her focus is growth, her motivation is endless. It doesn't depend on others. She knows the journey of self-improvement has no finish line. Each stage of growth leads to another, and each achievement opens the door to greater potential. That is why, over time, smart women naturally silence their critics without ever confronting them. Their progress becomes the answer, their growth becomes the proof. And their life itself becomes the statement that needed no explanation. A defining quality of smart women is their ability to transform failures into lessons and scars into stories. They understand that failure is not the end of the road. It is simply a bend that teaches them how to navigate life more wisely. Instead of running from their mistakes or hiding their scars, they embrace them as part of their journey. What others see as defeats, they see as opportunities for growth. What others view as wounds, they turn into badges of resilience. Every smart woman has faced moments where her efforts did not bring the expected results. She might have studied hard for an exam and still fallen short. She may have worked tirelessly on a career project only to be overlooked. She may have poured her heart into a relationship that didn't last, but instead of labeling herself as a failure, She takes time to reflect. What can this teach me? What strength can I gain from this? This shift in perspective transforms the failure into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Life has a way of teaching through pain. Scars are often the silent proof of battles fought and survived. Smart women don't cover their scars with shame. They reinterpret them as evidence of endurance. Each scar carries a story of courage, of falling and rising again, of refusing to give up. And when they share these stories, they inspire others who are struggling in silence. Their scars remind the world that survival is strength and healing is victory. This mindset makes them fearless in the face of challenges. Many people avoid risks because they fear failure. But a smart woman knows that even if she fails, she will not walk away empty-handed. She will walk away with lessons, with experience, and with new wisdom. This courage allows her to take bold steps, whether it's pursuing a career in a field where few women are present, starting her own business, or speaking her truth, even when it is unpopular. She is not reckless, but she is unafraid of setbacks because she has learned how to turn them into fuel. Moreover, transforming scars into stories allows her to connect deeply with others. When she opens up about her struggles, she shows that strength does not mean perfection. It means carrying imperfections with dignity. Other women see her journey and realize that they too can rise after falling. Young girls look at her and learn that mistakes are not the end, they are lessons in disguise. Her stories create a bridge between people, replacing shame with solidarity. What makes this transformation powerful is that it shifts the narrative from victimhood to victory. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" she reframes it as, "What did this teach me?" That simple change of perspective empowers her to take control of her story. She is no longer defined by what went wrong, but by how she responded when things went wrong. Over time, these lessons and stories accumulate, shaping her into someone who cannot be easily shaken. Her failures make her wise, her scars make her human, and her resilience makes her extraordinary. She walks forward not in spite of her scars, but because of them. They are reminders that she has fallen, but more importantly, that she has risen every single time. A smart woman knows that intelligence is not confined to the mind alone. True intelligence flows from both the head and the heart. It is intellectual and emotional at the same time. Many people believe that success belongs only to those with academic brilliance, sharp logic, or professional expertise. But life has shown time and again that intellect without emotional depth can lead to arrogance, isolation, or emptiness. A smart woman balances both, combining reason with empathy, strategy with sensitivity, and knowledge with kindness. Her intellectual intelligence helps her analyze problems, make decisions, and plan ahead. She can look at facts, evaluate options, and find logical solutions. But what truly makes her stand out is her emotional intelligence, the ability to understand herself, manage her emotions, and connect with others meaningfully. This blend allows her to shine not just as a professional, but as a leader, a friend, a partner, and a guide. Imagine a woman leading a team at work. Her intellect helps her design strategies and achieve targets. But her emotional intelligence ensures she doesn't treat her team like machines. She notices when someone is discouraged, she listens to their concerns, and she motivates them with compassion. Because of this balance, people don't just follow her because they have to. They follow her because they want to. That is the subtle power of combining head and heart. This balance also shows up in her personal life. Intellectual intelligence may help her understand the science of communication, but emotional intelligence teaches her when to speak and when silence is more healing. She knows that words can solve problems, but tone and timing can make all the difference. In relationships, she doesn't aim to win every argument with cleverness. She aims to preserve respect and harmony through empathy. Her emotional depth allows her to sense pain that others don't voice and offer comfort without judgment. Another strength of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. A smart woman doesn't ignore her emotions or let them control her blindly. She acknowledges them and reflects on them and chooses how to respond wisely. If she feels anger, she doesn't explode recklessly. She pauses, gathers herself, and channels that energy into constructive action. If she feels fear, she doesn't let it paralyze her. She uses it as a signal to prepare better. This self-mastery is what makes her trustworthy and dependable. Emotional intelligence also teaches her humility. Intellectual knowledge can sometimes make people proud, but emotional depth keeps her grounded. She knows that brilliance means nothing if it alienates people. She values kindness as much as competence, patience as much as performance. And that humility draws people toward her, making her a source of inspiration and comfort. Over time, this blend of intellect and emotion becomes her signature strength. She can walk into a room and not only understand the subject being discussed, but also sense the unspoken feelings lingering in the atmosphere. She can make rational choices that also honor human values. She can handle success without arrogance and failure without despair. What makes her truly remarkable is that she never sees intelligence as a competition. She doesn't flaunt her knowledge to prove she is smarter than others. Instead, she uses it to uplift, guide, and connect. Her intellectual brilliance may win respect, but her emotional wisdom wins hearts. And together, they create a kind of intelligence that is not just admired, but deeply cherished. A smart woman understands that life is not only about solving problems, it is about creating harmony. Many people spend their energy tackling one challenge after another, as if life were an endless checklist of issues to fix. But solving problems without creating harmony often leaves behind tension, bitterness, or imbalance. A smart woman sees beyond the surface. She doesn't just want things to function, she wants them to flow. She doesn't just want silence after conflict, she wants peace. She doesn't just want order, she wants harmony that touches both the mind and the heart. In the workplace, for example, she might be faced with a conflict between colleagues. An average problem solver might focus on who was right or wrong, distribute tasks again, and move on. But a smart woman takes a deeper view. She asks, how can I restore trust between them? How can I make sure they don't just work together, but feel respected in the process? She knows that real success lies not just in completing the project, but in building an environment where people want to give their best. The same applies in her personal life. Suppose there is a disagreement at home. A simple problem solver may end the argument by saying, "Fine, I'll do it my way, you do it yours." That may settle the issue, but it creates distance. A smart woman, however, understands that winning the argument is not as valuable as preserving the bond. She may pause, listen, and seek a middle ground, not because she is weak, but because she values harmony more than ego. She knows that in relationships, the right solution is not the one that proves someone correct, but the one that strengthens love and respect. Her gift lies in seeing the invisible threads that connect people. She notices how one person's words can affect another's confidence, how one small gesture can change the mood of an entire room. By paying attention to these details, she prevents small problems from growing into bigger ones. She creates harmony not just by solving what is visible, but by healing what is hidden. Harmony also extends to how she lives with herself. She doesn't chase endless goals without balance. She may be ambitious, but she ensures her body is healthy, her mind is calm, and her spirit is nourished. She doesn't sacrifice peace for success because she knows that true achievement means nothing if it leaves her restless inside. By balancing work, relationships, and self-care, she creates an inner harmony that reflects outwardly. Another powerful quality is her ability to use both logic and empathy when making decisions. Logical solutions may fix problems, but they don't always address feelings. Empathy without logic may feel good, but may not solve anything. A smart woman blends both, choosing solutions that are practical and kind at the same time. This is why people often trust her judgment. They know she will not only solve the issue, but also preserve dignity and respect in the process. Over time, her ability to create harmony becomes her quiet strength. People feel lighter in her presence, not because she takes away their problems, but because she handles them in a way that leaves no bitterness behind. Her home feels warmer, her workplace feels calmer, and her friendships feel safer because she doesn't just fix things, she heals them.